Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Level 1 show. Today is July 20th, and I've immediately forgotten the sections we're doing.
Business and social.
I knew social was in there, but I can't remember what we did first.
Very, very little social.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a short week for business as well. I think a lot of companies aren't looking to release headlines because the kinds of headlines that are coming out, well, let's just run through some quick ones.
Google CEO Pichai says company will slow hiring through 2023 in memo to employees.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good. I wonder if anybody else is experiencing this.
Microsoft lays off a portion of its workforce as part of a realignment. I think it was 1%, which is still, at a company that big, pretty sizable.
Not a small amount. And some less surprising.
Report, EV maker Rivian plans to cut hundreds of jobs.
700 from them is a lot more, percentage-wise.
Yeah.
And that's all coming from R&D. So they're still going to try to make the cars, but they're not going to try to develop.
They're not going to be doing any research.
No new cars. And then on a similar vein, but not quite the same, we have Intel.
Intel plans price hikes on broad range of products. I hope it's not those CPUs that just got like a huge speed decrease.
Unfortunately, it's not the CPUs. It's the smaller embedded stuff that everybody has to have. Like wireless stuff and some of the less powerful chips. So this will roll into almost every supply chain as extra cost. And of course, this one probably could have come sooner. I think that this is definitely, there's a lot of companies out there that reached a little too far, a little too close to the sun, as it were. And now plummeting to the earth in flames.
NFT marketplace OpenSea lays off 20% of its staff. We have entered ... a crypto winter.
Crypto winter is not coming. It's here.
It's here.
How long will it be here to stay? I don't know.
Hopefully it's a nothing burger like season 8.
You have to get the dragon glass dagger and plunge it into Satoshi.
I was just going to say into your own heart.
If you're
just
Satoshi.
cut your own throat.
So you got to find him too. That's the hard part.
Well.
But there is one company who seems to have kept their head above water here, and it's all down to that chip crunch because they've got the chips and everybody needs them.
Samsung sustains growth in Q2 thanks to chips, not potato chips.
No, or corn chips either.
Electronic chips.
Now their phones and their tablets and those kinds of things, as you might expect, just like everybody else, they're down, but they were able to fend off that red color in their chart just by the chips. I don't think that'll last.
I don't think so either.
And one thing that seems to be in the modern world, as fewer and fewer protections are afforded to us by our governments and more we're at each other's throats because things are bad, you might need some legal counsel. And if you're young, maybe that is a profession that you want to go into. But if you're choosing between Team Red and Team Blue, that could be a big factor here.
Intel's 12th gen CPU can't handle the bar exam. Exemplify, I guess, is what that's run on.
Exemplify is a testing company. So, doing everything remotely now.
Yeah.
So you can take the bar exam through their software. But their software, much like the PUBG anti-cheat stuff, is
kind of flaky.
It's constantly looking for any kind of virtualization. This software believes that any virtualization is evil. There's no good use for it. Well, guess what? The 12th gen CPU from Intel does. Uses some virtualization. So this software sees it and it's like, nope. You'll never
Shut
be a
it down.
lawyer.
You'll have to go to an actual physical building to do the bar exam. What a nightmare.
Or get AMD.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm choosing between using my existing laptop or just going downtown to take the bar, I probably would just go downtown. But
maybe. Now, last week I talked about this thing, but I couldn't remember the name of it. This was the headset that had the really lackluster demo.
And yet, look at the starting price for this.
Now, what they've done here is they've said, we're no longer targeting this toward consumers. This is only for, like enterprise level industrial stuff. They're probably going to help you build software with it, but still.
I thought that was still insane. Magic Leap 2 AR headset arrives September 30th, starting at $3,299. And that's like the cheap version. I think the higher ones get like 4 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I think it was $4,500 actually. Oh no, $499.
Whew.
Oh no, $49.99 for the with enterprise ready software, and that's a 2-year support. So if you're an Amazon warehouse worker, you might actually have one of these in your future, because that's what it's guided. It's for people who are going to be in like that kind of situation where, it actually has a new feature where when you're looking at something that's being broadcast onto it rather than the actual view that you see, it will dim the rest of the world, so you can easier see what it's trying to focus you on.
Can you imagine? I feel like that's just gonna. How long before that just gets turned into a platform for advertising? So like you're trying to do your job, but there's also ads blinking at the corner of your vision.
It's dimming out.
Yeah.
Like you're driving and it's dimming out the road. Or imagine you're in the Amazon warehouse and you've got 30 seconds to pee, and while you're in there, your vision keeps getting dimmer and dimmer as your time runs
You have to stumble out. Your hands are all wet. You didn't have time to dry them.
Your pants are down. And of course, you won't be able to remove those.
No, it'll be. It has to be ads though. It'll be ads the whole time you're going to the bathroom. You clock in to say I'm going to take a bathroom break, and there's a little timer at the top, and it's like you have 30 seconds, and then the ads start playing.
You know what I bet they'll do? I bet they'll integrate that with the toilet paper roll. And it's like, watch this ad to get
Another square.
3 extra sheets.
Yeah. Oh, not 3. That's premium users only. You get 1. The free tier, you have to watch an ad, but you only get 1 square.
It takes so long. All the Amazon workers come out, their legs are asleep because they've been on the bowl for so long.
Waiting,
I had to watch 15 ads, and I'm not clean.
That's the world we're headed to. I used to laugh at drink verification can, but every day we get closer to that reality.
I mean, they could do that if they wanted to now. I think right now the public wouldn't accept it, but eventually we will. Well, the Nothing phone, I've been seeing a lot of headlines about the Nothing phone.
I didn't see it until you posted it in the document.
Really? There's been a lot of PR for these guys. Unfortunately, I actually don't know that I care, but we're not getting them here in the US. This is an EU kind of thing. And it has a gimmick, but I don't see that it's changing my mind about phones.
No. Nothing officially announces flashy Phone 1 starting at €399.
The gimmick appears to be these LED strips.
Yeah, I was like, I was waiting for other gimmicks as I read the article, and the main thing it kept talking about was look at the LEDs. And I was like, is there anything else?
So these will provide good lighting for your photos, obviously. I mean, like a
ring light. Yeah,
that type of stuff. But also, you can use them for indicators and stuff like that. It's not meant to be, it's not the newest Samsung chip. It's one of the older ones. So it's not super fast compared to other phones. And it's not beautiful.
And here's the other thing. Most people put a case on their phone. They're just going to cover that up.
You could get a transparent case, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, great.
The other big selling point is that they have their own version of Android that they're giving. It's called the Nothing OS. And they claim that's better.
They say it works better with third-party apps. And I was like, well, who cares about that?
And specifically, of course, NFTs. The Nothing phone is NFT ready.
Oh, thank goodness.
As if your other phones aren't. Here's a blast from the past. This is one of those situations where a company announced something, the backlash was overwhelming, and they were like, we're just kidding, we're not going to do that. And then eventually they did it, but quietly this time.
Yeah, I made a joke about this earlier.
Now, when The Verge or whoever broke the story contacted them, and they were like, well, when did you actually start selling this in these certain countries? And they were like, I don't actually know, because it was so quiet.
They just, quietly turned it on.
Not even the support team was told.
BMW starts selling heated seat subscriptions for $18 a month. $18. Nickel and diming us every chance they get.
Oh, that's not a nickel and a dime.
Yeah.
That's a roll of quarters. So you can see here they've got other stuff. And there's so many little, think about if there's €25 for that one, 35.
Ugh.
The first row we're up to like 75. If you got all these, you're looking at, that's 179.
What's that one? I can't see the text on it.
Office environment voucher? I don't know what that is.
It's $179 a month.
Euro. Although we're at parity now, aren't we?
I think so.
For the first time in a long time. But yeah, it's disgusting. Now, everything you need to turn those heated seats on is in that car. All it is over-the-air software. That also means they can turn it off anytime they want. including all those other features.
If you live in a place like we live where like service is spotty in a lot of places, does that mean that your heated seats might just randomly turn off?
Well, there was a rental company that used this same kind of over-the-air stuff to start and stop the cars. And if you recall, some people took them camping.
Right, and
they couldn't start the car. So, yeah, I suspect that kind of thing will want to phone home at least once a month, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got to confirm your subscription.
Those of us who live out in the middle of nowhere. I was going to say, we're missing out, but we're not really missing out. We're just we're going to hopefully overlook this.
I would never buy a BMW.
No. Well, I wouldn't buy a BMW for different reasons, but especially not because of this.
Yeah. Well, it's not good value for the money.
Yeah. Does the car get me from point A to point B? That's all I care about.
I mean, there's more to consider than that in my mind, but I don't.
Color, yeah.
See, I don't think
color.
I don't think that you would drive a Model T. It would fulfill that role.
It's too expensive.
A Model T?
Oh, I was thinking.
I mean,
Tesla.
actually,
my brain
it would be expensive because you think of a Model X.
Yeah.
It would be expensive because to restore one would
Probably
be hundreds of thousands.
Pricey. Yeah.
Let's assume you could get one for whatever Henry Ford sold them for back then.
Right.
I don't think you'd be satisfied with it. I can see you out there cranking that engine.
It's so hot.
Or cold. And
Well, at that point, I just ride a bike.
Another pandemic darling that we've talked a lot about because they rose to power and then just made poor decision after poor decision. The last big headline about them was the rust problem.
Yeah.
Which they were just painting over and selling anyway. Well, they won't have to worry about that anymore.
Peloton will stop making its own bikes, just like every other American company.
So now, literally, all they do is run a subscription service.
Which is probably what they wanted to do in the first place, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess they'd still do the logistics and they still buy the bikes and ship them, but those will be coming from a Chinese factory from now on. They were already terrible quality, though, so who knows? Maybe it'd be better.
Maybe.
Here's an interesting headline. When I read it, I was like, I don't really understand how this could be possible. And it's shocking, the truth here, because it just has to do with the youth.
I kind of get it. I didn't get it at first, but I get it now.
And this astonishing way that the young people of this world view their interaction with it.
Google execs suggest Instagram and TikTok are eating into Google's core products, search and maps. So the bulk of the argument in this is that for a long time when someone looked something up, like I want to go find a restaurant to eat or I want to buy a product, they would go straight to Google search or they'd go to Google Maps. But now Gen Z is more typically going to like Instagram and then looking at local stuff to see where they want to go eat.
And even for stuff like even if you would look at a video for this, a Google search wouldn't start with a video, like how to change a tire, is the example they used. So Google is actually thinking about like, how do we serve search results for these people? And they're going to drive it, because old people don't buy as much as young people. And so they're actually going to change things to make it so that videos always come up first in a Google search, which I hate.
I hate that too, because most of the time I'm looking for something that's like a 1-minute explanation. Yeah. Not even if you just wrote it in text, it'd be like a paragraph, 3 sentences. And I'm like, I don't want to watch a 10-minute video about how to, turn on this thing on a computer or whatever.
Yeah. Plus, you're going to have a loud intro.
Yeah.
You're going to have, hey guys, blah, 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 blah.
We know how it's done. We do it too, but
there's no reason for it when I'm just looking for, how
like the most basic, how to pop popcorn. First, open the microwave. But I did kind of think, at first I was like, the restaurant analogy is ridiculous. But for things like, if I'm just looking for like garden supplies, a lot of times I check Facebook Marketplace before I check Google. Because it's a lot cheaper to just buy it secondhand. I
think it's also the shift in mindset is not just that like I'm looking for a restaurant. It's just like they go deeper than that. It's just I'm hungry. What can TikTok do about that?
No. I think too though, I think this is also maybe a shift toward looking for something that's quote unquote more authentic. I mean, videos obviously are not always authentic, but Google is so driven by ads now that people don't trust it. So they're like, I do trust, my favorite content creator or...
Which you shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't, by the way. But it feels more authentic than something that's served from Google. So Google has an authenticity problem, which is a problem for younger generations and how you market to them.
Yeah, I think I forgot to include it, but I read a great story about social media. You know those little, they'll do those videos where it's like, oh, I improved somebody's day by giving them flowers or whatever.
Yeah.
Some guy did that, and it was an old woman. And his thing was like, he gave her flowers. He was like, can you hold these for me? And then when she took them, he was just like, oh, you can have them, they're yours, or something like that. You know, it's like, oh, I hope I made her day better. And then somebody, it blew up because he's a famous TikToker or whatever. And somebody contacted her and she was like, no, I don't like that. I feel like I was used.
Yeah.
I feel like he was just like, oh, look at this poor old lady. I bet nobody likes her and gives her flowers. And he made a lot of money off of it. It wasn't genuine. He lied to me and asked me to hold them. And he's making money off of me. And no, I don't like that.
I think most people don't like that. Like when they're the person who's in the video and not being.
The article didn't play it like that. The article was just like, oh, a crabby old woman.
No, nobody likes to be.
I think some people do.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
It feels condescending.
you know what, Krista? I mean, you're married, but if you wanted to find somebody else who also hated TikTok, maybe you could craft a search on a dating app and try to like target that person. But Google does not like dating apps.
Google files counterclaim to Match's antitrust lawsuit, says Match wants to use its services for free.
I think Google begged everybody to put apps on the App Store, didn't they?
Yeah.
So this is, of course, the old argument about payments. Match has sued and said we should be able to use whatever payment we want. They also offered to put the 30% in escrow pending the outcome of the case. But now Google is saying, no, that's not enough. They're going to countersue, and it's going to get worse.
And you know who will really love this, the outcome either way? The lawyers for both of those companies.
Wasn't it the Dutch that came after them the first time? I think so. So now, and not only are their farmers being destroyed, but do you think what's the farm dating site that you're always talking about?
Oh, Farmers Only. My cousin met his wife on
Do you
farmersonly.com.
think Match owns Farmers Only? They own a lot of them.
Maybe, probably.
So the Dutch farmers probably getting screwed on that too.
Oh. Farmersonly.com. There's a lot of ads for that around here if you watch cable TV.
You know what? Right now, it's tough for the Dutch farmers to fertilize anything. Get it?
It's a double joke.
Here's a headline that just my spine turns to ice as I read it.
Amazon launches cancer vaccine clinical trial in partnership with Fred Hutchinson.
I don't know who Fred Hutchinson is. Do you?
I didn't either, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. So, chat if you have any insights there.
I imagine he's a big name in the medical world, which means I don't trust him. But there he is. Oh, no, that's not. That's Andy Jassy. So, yeah, Amazon. They're looking to put some of that big Amazon money and data control and stuff like that to clinical trials for a cancer vaccine.
Skin cancer, specifically.
And they also say that it is a customer specific. How did they word it? Like these are unique to you.
I've heard of
Personalized.
this. Yeah, I've heard of this kind of thing before, where they use some
God.
like sort of DNA thing to do it.
Look how disgusting this is. CNBC won't let you highlight. It's got its own little JavaScript garbage.
Except once you'd be able to share a
Oh, my
particular
God.
excerpt.
Why would anybody look at CNBC?
As we go to the next article, which is also CNBC.
I'll tell you why, because they don't have a paywall.
Yeah.
Yes. More and more companies that should be out of business. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the LimeWire. Or no, was it LimeWire?
I remember LimeWire. Probably killed our first computer with
I think
LimeWire.
Radio Shack and LimeWire have both come back now as
I
NFT.
saw the Radio Shack thing firsthand.
They have a building?
They don't have a building. They have a website. I went there just out of curiosity to see if it was still up, and they're getting into the NFT market.
So is this LimeWire and now?
GameStop launches NFT marketplace as it hunts for growth in digital fueled turnaround. GameStop has that meme stock money, I guess, and they're looking to waste it.
Probably not as much as they did before, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm so happy about NFTs dying. I hope that they remain dead, but I'm afraid that they won't.
Did you see? I don't know if we did a story about it this week. I don't think we did. Reddit has done that now. They kind of have, well, it's not really NFTs, but it's like costumes for
We
you.
did that last week.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I saw the button pop up on Reddit the other day. It was like, change your costume or whatever.
I've noticed when I read Reddit comments, which I don't do very much, but sometimes I do, the people I disagree with most all have those little alien icons. I wonder if that's the NFTs.
No, it's not the NFTs because you can do that. But there's like special items that you can only get through their NFT marketplace.
Yeah. When I read a comment, almost always I'm like, who is this idiot? It's the alien icon.
Yeah.
The people I agree with just have the default
icon, yeah.
Uber. Now, we talked last week about Uber. Actually, I don't think we did the news story. I think I just mentioned it. But Uber did a lot of stuff. The big thing to me that came out of that leak was the government leaders who were like literally on the phone with them. Like, yeah, we got to screw these taxi drivers. Just tell us what you need. And oh boy, did they do it. But it was so much deeper than that.
Hit the kill switch. Uber used covert tech to thwart government raids.
So Amsterdam in particular was one of the big ones that they documented here. So they talk about, like, they're looking through all these records and putting this back together. So they found a message from one of the women that worked there. And I think it was an email. And she was like, hey, my laptop just kind of like went black and died and now it won't turn on. What's going on? I think something's wrong. Well, no, nothing was wrong. They'd been kill switched because regulators had just walked in the front door. And anytime that happened, they would wipe the whole system, shut it all down. And this happened over and over. So the regulators could never actually get to the truth of what Uber was doing.
How many times does it take? Is it like the second time, the third time, the fourth time it happens that the government raiders are like, wait a minute?
Well, I think they sort of understood what was happening, but they really couldn't do much about it.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, in Amsterdam, what's stored here versus we can't just get the stuff in America. So they got away with it. Now, the current Uber leaders are,
Excuse me.
they're very apologetic about this. They're like, yeah, that was Travis. Travis did that. We're sorry. We're so sorry about
What's
Travis.
Travis's last name? Pravis.
Kalanick. Oh, no, he was the CEO.
Oh.
No, Travis is real.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke.
No, he was a real problem. So, but
they just picked one guy.
You got to wonder if it was really all him. I mean, other people
seems unlikely to
had
me.
to be complicit at least, right?
Right.
Had to tolerate it.
You think he personally set up the kill switch?
Yeah. Oh, he was very involved. A lot of the records are in there, like him saying those kinds of things.
Well, him saying it, but do you think he actually did it, or did he assign that to an underling?
Yeah. I mean, there probably wasn't a physical button, but how cool would it be if there was?
Oh man, it's underneath his desk, like he just.
Well, you'd have to have one per country, a map maybe.
Ooh, in his office, like you think it's just wall art, but you can really put your hand on it, and it reads his
Or you could put a pin in it. And everybody's like, oh, that's where you visited. No, that's where I'm shutting down. That's where I'm kill switching. Here's a great deal. Oh, except that this software is free. Not this software, but software literally exactly like it. Free. And this is only one computer and only student and home.
Get lifetime access to Microsoft Office for only $40 thanks to this limited time only deal. This is a marketing piece, isn't it? Also, why is this in Popular Science?
Because they clearly got paid for it if you read the article. Not cool, Popular Science. Not cool. LibreOffice or what's the other one?
Libra's, I think, the only one I've used.
OpenOffice.
Yeah.
I think OpenOffice might have started charging and LibreOffice took. I don't know. But one of the two will take care of you in like 99.9% of those situations. We read a lot of Wired stories. And Wired is, of course, owned by Condé Nast, who owns everything when it comes to...
A lot of big magazines,
publications, well, even Reddit, websites. They own almost all of it. And as you can see here, if you read this article, they have a tight control of their employees.
Exclusive. Wired's union threatens to strike. It's a good image.
Writers. How many of them you think touch a pencil on a given business day?
Probably none. They probably all just write on a computer now.
So the big argument here is that the New Yorker magazine negotiated. They have a union. They negotiated with Condé Nast and got a certain kind of deal. And the Wired writers were like, yeah, we want that same deal. And Condé Nast said, oh, no. No, you're a tech writer.
You're a much smaller company compared to the fancy ones.
So they're saying, hey. Now, unfortunately, the plan was to do this during Amazon Prime, the Prime Day sale, which was 2 days. I could not find a follow-up whether or not they went through with it, so I'm guessing no.
Oh, maybe, and then it doesn't work if you don't actually do it.
Right, because Prime Day was this week as we're recording this, and it's over, and I didn't hear anything about a wired strike.
Do people still care about Prime Day?
I looked at some stuff, but I was not motivated.
It's all just kind of garbage.
Especially during the recession time. They have great deals on those Fire TVs and the other
stuff
Amazon
they sell,
TVs.
yeah.
But, you're buying into that whole, you have to use their stuff on it. And it's going to show you ads and it's going to spy. And they don't work well as dumb TVs. So I didn't go for it. Here's some good news if you drive an electric vehicle, or at least one that's not a Tesla, because as we all know, Tesla chargers are the most ubiquitous, and it makes sense to do this.
White House, Tesla to expand its US Supercharger network to other EVs in late 2022.
Gotta wonder what kind of subsidies were promised for this, huh?
It doesn't make sense to me that this was allowed at all, but...
Well, this might convince you that there's a reason he wanted it. In order to use them, you still have to have the Tesla app and a Tesla account. Yeah.
Imagine it's like you're at the end of a road trip and it's like, oh, great, I'll just pull up and charge for like 20 minutes. And then it's like, oh, no,
register.
Drink verification can.
You have to two-factor. You get the phone number in there wrong. What a nightmare. What a great thing having an electric vehicle would be in your life. This is an old story at this point. I think it came down to faulty equipment or poorly configured routers or something like that. It turned out to be something that was probably absolutely avoidable.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were upset.
Massive Rogers outage cut off 25% of Canada's internet for nearly all of Friday. We had some people affected by this in our chat room.
Yeah. A lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
Creeping around up there. So it came back in intermittently. Not everybody had service at the same time, but I think they all did as of like a day or two later. So frustrating when your internet is not usable.
See, I don't care. I don't like it, but if my internet goes out, that's fine. If my internet is spotty or slow, that's more annoying. Because if the internet's just down, it's like, well, I'll go do something else. But if it's slow, you kind of have that trickle of hope that maybe it'll be okay, and then it's not. And that's enraging.
You would hate cruise ships.
Yeah.
Because that's like literally the only thing you can get there. Until Starlink comes.
I'm never going to go on a cruise, I don't think.
Really? You're anti-cruise?
I'm just not interested in it.
I mean, right now is a terrible time to go on the cruise. Did you see the one cruise that got infected again?
Oh.
Yeah, like the whole boat. I think it was like 1 in 4 people got the vid.
Oh. Yeah. No. I just, if I'm going to go on vacation, I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And cruise ships feel like they would be too structured.
There's a lot of stuff to do on a cruise ship. But, it's probably only fun for about a week.
Yeah.
But that's about how long you're going to be there. Well, TikTok. Here's the thing about TikTok. It's blowing up. Everybody's going there. The young people, they're all over it. But how do you monetize it? More importantly, how do you monetize it without pissing off all of your users?
TikTok hits pause on its most controversial privacy update yet. I almost said piracy, which is not right.
Targeted ads. They wanted to start with the targeted ads, which of course brings up all of the old arguments about targeted ads, which is they have to profile you.
Yep.
And they have to let advertisers look at your profile stuff and sell ads to you. And no one wants that.
And yeah, once again, so they say, Gen Z is going to TikTok to find recommendations for things. If you start doing this, TikTok's not going to be popular anymore because everyone's going to be like, oh, it's bought and sold. Though TikTok already very much that way. Half of the content on there is already an ad.
But it's like
it's disguised.
Organic ads,
yeah, it's disguised as content.
Now you have that plus a pre-roll. Mm-hmm. I mean, not now, but how long are they going to wait for this? They have to do it eventually.
Like 10 minutes. Yeah. We'll wait till it's Friday at 5:30. They take a page out of Musk's playbook.
And then we'll miss it because it's not 5:30 yet, and this is Friday. Well, if you have gone to the YouTube homepage where they just recommend videos to you, I can't imagine that there's any profile that has ever escaped this one.
No, everyone loves this channel.
I just show you this over and over. I've never clicked on it, but my
really?
God, I've seen it. No, I don't recommend channel. I don't need that. Do you like it?
You never just go in there and just click on it?
No.
There's so many variations of this where it's just like,
Yeah.
beats to study and chill to. I've clicked on a bunch of them.
But this is the OG.
Yeah.
And this one has been running for 2 years at this point. But now, rip.
YouTube ends Lofi Girl's 2-year-long music stream over bogus DMCA warning.
You just enjoyed some DMCA this week.
I did. If you guys are patrons or on Floatplane, I released a video, and it was, I would say, fair use. I was criticizing the marketing of a new television show, and we used clips from the television show and their marketing materials, and we got DMCA'd. Repeatedly. And we did 2 or 3 uploads trying to get rid of the DMCA copyright claims, but they catch them no matter what.
Now, here's the crazy thing about it. Lofi Girl is such a phenomenon at this point. They produce all their own music. So Lofi Music Studio records all the music that goes on the Lofi Girl channel. They own every single note. And yet...
It's probably something that's like just a little bit close to some other song, and they're like, that's mine.
No, I think it's just a completely false claim. Just a fake one.
Why would you be angry about that channel? Like, who's targeting it?
They're not trying to... well, I guess they are trying to strike it if they took it down, but I think they're just trying to take its money. And it's not a human doing it. It's an algorithm.
Right.
Which is designed to overreach because it works. And there's no consequence for it. And there won't be for this.
Yeah.
But here we are, participating on their platform, just like with the Google Play thing, because of the reach. They've got the reach.
Rip.
And Elon Musk is now giving us just a little more detail about why he decided to pull out of the Twitter deal, when that is definitely not his thing. And I kind of understand this. This was a crappy move on their part, and I think that you had to do this because you want to hide something from him. I think both sides here are in the wrong.
API rate limits at the core of Elon Musk's decision to ditch Twitter. I don't know if it's the only core, but maybe part of it.
Well, I think the loss in stock value is the big one, for sure. So Twitter will give you different kinds of API access. The highest tier one lets you hit the API a lot. Now, this is where your big businesses who are doing business with Twitter are paying. And there's, I'm sure Google probably gets as many API hits as they want, because they gave Musk the lowest tier one, like small business minus account. So his researchers would regularly hit the limit and be like, listen, we need more. And he would contact them. It took him 2 days to bump his access up. And he only had a limited time to study that stuff. So he's claiming that was a big part of it. Now, they did eventually give him the higher access. So, like right now, he probably could be doing that research. I don't know if he is.
No, I think he's just trying to back out because he realizes it's not a good deal for him.
See, I thought I put that one in twice.
You did. There it is. It's the Omegle story again.
Now we didn't introduce the end story, and it's an abrupt ending.
Oh, that's really a bummer for you guys. That's okay. You'll keep watching, hopefully. We will see you guys on Friday with nonsense. Bye!